It is Andre, and it's time for another RC After Hours podcast. Just getting the show going. Hopefully everything is working. It seems like OBS needed a couple of updates, so we might be a little behind on rolling it through. Anyhow, we're going. First and foremost, sorry, it has been a little bit of a delay on my part as far as getting a show out, but that comes to just looking for content, looking for things to hit out and shoot and produce and everything and talk about. We finally have some stuff. We finally, there's going to be full product reviews and a little bit of discussion about some of the stuff that's come out recently in the industry. So that's good news. On my end, I actually have been doing a little bit of project work, a little less flying than I'd like to, but that's current life in the environment right now. So welcome to everybody who's looking on the stream right now. I know I didn't even advertise it. I wasn't even sure if I was gonna do a show, but I figured I owed my the RC After Hours community a little bit of content after a little bit of a delay in September. Yeah, I only got out one episode, and we're kind of behind the ball in October, but that's just how things go sometimes. So stay tuned, buckle in, and we'll see if we can make the show work and do some content. So first and foremost, the Buddy RC 10% discount is still going, buddyrc.com, and that is good till the end of this month, October 31st. So if you need anything, check out their links. They have a good variety, nice healthy variety of content and products. Wow. Thank you, Perfection ZXX, for the little donation through YouTube. That is awesome. And hello to some of the new Patreon supporters, and to those who've moved on. Totally understand. Some of it is my blame, and as like I said, not getting enough content out. And then other people just moving on. It's just how it goes. The Patreon is a bonus, and it actually just keeps the show going on and funding and moving and so forth. So I appreciate it. Again, yeah. Hey, Lee Davis, Hangar. Hey, buddy. And the title of this show is Hangar versus Hangar. And you'll laugh because I was doing an update, a Friday, not even a Friday flying update, a Saturday update talking about Hangar IRC from Sam and the crew, and just call it a moment. And I realized I had been spelling Hangar ER as in closed hangar and not AR. Phonetically, they sound the same. There's a big difference. And we'll talk about the Hangar RC. Sam will be on the show in the next couple of weeks. He is just there in the middle of changing locations, and he wants to get his studio up and running. And then we'll get him, and we will talk about the Wasp. Yes, Hangar is where I put my planes. Yes. So I was like, afterwards, in the comments were coming into the YouTube view and everything, and I just laughed. I went, wow, complete brain fade moment. So Hangar versus Hangar. So that's the name of the podcast episode, because I got to own that one. I was like, wow, I really botched on that one. But it has been a building kind of fall so far, and it looks like it's going to still go that way. So the iNav projects are starting to really take form. I haven't flown any of them. I'm still tuning, and it's one of those really fun things where you can get in there and dial, and there's so much information in the community. Andrew Newton and a couple other guys are really pushing for instructions and everything, so that is awesome. So I haven't flown the grade 4 spelling. Thanks, Lee. Appreciate that. I haven't flown the Mini Guinea yet, and that will happen eventually. On the flying, I don't have a strategy right now. I do want to get out with the Wasp and everything, and I think it's going to be one of those weekday afternoons. I've really been making a focus conscious in the COVID environment to try and keep that, and it'll get political, it'll get crazy. There's so many different beliefs and viewpoints, but I know what's going on in Ottawa, and it's pretty terrifying. So I've just kind of said, yep, I'll fly when it's good and proper for me. So I do have a couple airplanes to get going, and I touched on that on my update on Saturday. I have the Hawk. the Hawk. The Wasp that I want to get going, that's sitting over my shoulder. That's been a really fun build, and we'll dive into that here. I finished the Defiant D28. I know I finished a wing, and so that was Frank and Sean going, come on, and I got in there. I laminated that thing one evening, and it is ready to go. And I will put in 3 or 4S battery, and we'll keep plugging away and see how that feels and goes. And so there's a wing, and it's kind of spurred on all the other wings. And there was a couple comments about that. What are you gonna go? And I started thinking, one, I'm laminating, and I don't know what the deal is, but I got to keep going. I got to keep focusing on that and still keep pushing on those ones. And I had a brainwave moment when I was watching some of the iNav auto launches, and I'm like, I have the video aerial system Chimera. This is the Flight Fest crashing into a heli bird, the one that took the thing out back, old school Flight Fest. And I'm like, change up the power system, drop it in an iNav, or an Arduino, whatever, auto launch, basically. And so I'm like, I have a test bed finally that I can actually throw around this thing and try it and just get it going. And so once that 411 board comes in from Banggood, I'm totally throwing it in there and trying this thing, because I looked at a couple of videos and was like, this could be the way to do this. Because that's the problem with a really big wing. If you don't have someone who's willing to throw it, I could just imagine trying to throw this thing holding your remote. So I watched a couple quick review videos, and it's literally, engage auto mode, put the throttle at whatever speed you think you're going to need afterwards, set it to the mode, and go. Shake, go. And it looks so cool. Tons of steps to get to that point, but that is kind of where I'm going to focus a lot of my energy into the winter, just getting the Mini Guinea iNav project. That'll be my test bed as I learn it. Then I'll step into the Sky Hunter. Yes, we'll talk about the Sky Hunter, because that was a surprise addition to the Hangar. And then all the other projects. There's balls of stuff and everything. And back there, the box is behind me. I sold another Warbird, just thinning out the fleet, focusing on what I want, and I used that funds to go and pick up a Crossfire Mini TX 2 bundle, and so that was like $200. Drone Geeks or whatever out of Toronto, and so it was like a couple days shipping and everything, and it was here. So the 3 iNav ships that I'm working on, they're all going to be Crossfire. And it wasn't that I'm going to go long range. It's just, why not try it and see what I can do with it. If I drop in behind the trees and so forth, then I've got a little bit of more continuity. Nothing wrong with the FR Sky 2.4 telemetry, but try these and just so. So I'm excited about that, and it's a different learning. And I think that's going to be the genesis of how I push into the fall as far as what the content's going to be and everything. It'll be me learning, and so far it seems to be paying off and kind of working in that flow. So I go for it, right? I mean, between iNav and then with the 1800, it's with the 1800, the Sky Hunter 1800, going to be doing some 3D stuff, and we'll keep talking about it. I'm also reading the comments. Different solutions, same problem with a big wing. You could try a drop-away landing gear. Yeah, and I've seen the slingshots and everything. It's just keep it simple. You got to remember, less than a month from now, we're going to be looking at snow and everything. So it's like, it's. If I'm still lucky enough to telework and everything, like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're going to get into darkness soon too, so it's a couple different things. So I'm going to keep testing away and keep learning and everything, and if I can just get this stuff to iNav and work, we're going to have a lot of fun. But and all the wings, so the Juggernauts are going to get done. The Flinch is going to get done, and that's those are 2 from Sweet Wings. They are sitting in behind there. There's the rack in behind the biplane. And they're all going to get finished, because if I can do this stuff and I start flying wings. And the other thing about wings, too, is not even, the laminate thing. I've got to get used to that. I've got to get past that. And that was the good part about kind of just saying, let's get the D28 done and go from there. And just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and get these aircraft done. The other thing I find about the wings is they're almost more of a sociable aircraft. you can fly with them, but if you're not flying with other buddies' wings, it doesn't seem to be that much fun. Speaking of wings, guys, I've got to check out. I don't have the link handy in the show notes. I will have to update that, but you have to check out the Wing Simulator app from Kitchen Sink. I bought it. Frank was testing it, betas were testing and everything. I'll get the guys. I'm going to have to get David and the crew on the show to talk about that. It is a phenomenally fun little app. Even my PC, which is, been built up to host the podcast and everything, seems to fly it at a pretty good frame rate. And so the other and that means I've got 3 flight simulators to really play through the winter. So Real Flight 9.5 at this point. You've got Microsoft Flight Simulator and now the Wing Simulator. And so this winter, when the weather's crappy and everything, we'll all just get together and just do a hosted RC After Hours wing flight or something like that. Anyhow, the Wings app was hilarious because there we were flying under the bridges down in Flight Fest, Edgewater. So check it out. Highly recommended. It was like, $40 US? I don't even want to tell you what the exchange rate was on that, but either way, it is worth the money, I think, as far as some of these simulators, and the fact that it's a little bit of a homegrown, community-based project, and the maps and everything, the realism look good. So there you go. I'll throw that link into the show descriptions, or if anybody wants to throw it in the chat. I actually might not be able to do it because of the way the YouTube chat is. But anyhow, moving forward. So I said there's a new plane in the fleet, and I really wasn't working on expecting to add to it. And I do apologize for the glitching, as I'm looking at some bandwidth issues as the monitor's flashing. Anyhow, Skyhunter 1800 millimeter plane showed up in the hangar. I literally one day had been scratching away some notes and looking at what I was going to do, talking with Sean and Frank about some INAV projects, and there's that air loader one, that complete disaster that's sitting out from Banggood, and I kind of was like, yeah, twin boom, twin prop, kind of, would be amazing. And like hours later, this Skyhunter 1800 millimeter popped up on my local group for $40 Canadian from Banggood. The shipping on that thing alone was like $70, $80, and it was a $300 plane. So I'm like, boom, take my money. And it came with a motor. So, but what sparked me was I was on Thingy Universe, and someone had already designed a 3D printed motor mounts to do the twin. And so I was kind of like, hey, this has got some possibilities. So I went with it, and pull up the website. That's not working. Why is that not working? There you go. There we go. Very simple. Very, very, very simple aircraft. I mean, I've got the smaller one, and I kind of chuckled when I saw it, and I was like, this is perfect. $40, no stress, and I've already started, like I said, it kind of encouraged me to do a little bit of 3D printing design, and I jumped back into Fusion on my laptop. I was going to do it on the PC, and I just started working. For whatever reason, it is working really well on the laptop again, so I just kind of started just going away and designed 2 very quick mounts. Because I'm going twin prop, and the motors, there's photos of surfing around on the social media stuff that I've done recently. I'm going to put them on the boom. Someone asked me in my update video why I'd selected the spot. Well, I figured the boom design was going to be where I'd have the most strength in the wing and everything. And I'm just doing twin because I like twins, and I figured throwing the twin prop will technically be a little safer than a big spinning prop in the back. Regardless, the idea is that I'm just interested in doing a twin pusher. So I kind of jumped into Fusion 360 right away, and was like, okay, if I don't have a motor mount and I want to centralize all my equipment into the fuselage, well, I can make a mount in the back where the motor would be to hold the VTX. Poof, went in with a caliper, measured the circle, made the circle and all this stuff. And I giggled because I'm in the software and I'm like, how do I slice this stuff and everything? And I was kind of like, hey, And so that's what the second design was for, and that is the when I learned how to do the plate. And it was I'd go on YouTube and like, how do I do some other stuff? And oh yeah, 404 error. That's hilarious. I'm not sure why that happened. Anyhow, I designed the Fpv plate, and you've reached the end of something is up with Thingiverse today. Anyhow, the linkers are there. I'm really distracted, unfortunately. Squirrel moments. The plate is designed to put the camera up, and the idea there is I'm putting my video camera on top of the aircraft because I've got a really nice pan and tilt mechanism, and it'll allow me to more or less get a better spot for my FPV camera with pan and tilt, and then put a spot for the GPS. Someone commented I might be covering up my GPS. I'll test that out. If not, I'll move it. But the idea behind my design for the twin motor Sky Hunter is I will kind of Thingiverse is a terrible website, unfortunately. I'm going to keep everything contained within the center fuselage. I'm not even going to put any of my receivers or anything like that out into the wings because I'll be running power through the wings, and I'm trying to avoid cross-contamination or anything like that. So it'll be a little bit of a custom design, a custom build-up, but hey, it's a $40 airframe, and that's like, there's no stress. So I'm gonna have some fun, and it's kind of pushed me into designing. So I'll keep refining those designs, particularly the motor mount. I'm gonna go back and do a little bit more slicing and cutting to thin that out, and I've decided I'm gonna put the wood mount in right away and then alter my mount design so it screws into place. So, but the benefit to having the transmitter back there is it's free and clear. It's not going to bug the receiver or anything like that, and it'll actually be in a really well ventilated spot as well, so it doesn't overheat or anything like that. So there we go. Very unexpected. That's going to run the 405 iNav board. It's going to have the Crossfire in there and so forth. So it's going to be a pretty cool. I'm sticking video. It's going to be 5.8. I almost jumped to a different protocol. I almost looked at not the Fat Shark, the DJI goggles and everything, but that can come later on because that's a good healthy chunk of coin, and I'm not quite ready to leave the 5.8 realm because I realized when I started really relooking at all the FPV, I have a ton of old cameras. So like all my stuff is older, but it still works. So why would I go and reinvest in everything? So there we go. This is going to be a mega project. I'm looking forward to it. It ultimately will probably be a 6S ship. I'll start off with 4, and the prop space can contain, I can do a 9-inch prop or an 8-inch prop, and it should be a really fun flying aircraft with a lot of capacity and everything. So I can't complain about the price and everything. I know I said no new foam into the fleet, but meh. So, all right. I've talked about the Defiant, and I'm really excited. Thank you, Sean. Sean, as part of when we did the yard challenge, he said he had something sitting around waiting for me, and it looks like, well, not looks like. I went to Sport Wings. That's not what I wanted. Where is that lovely little beast? There it is, the Renegade. So he had one of the prototypes, which he'd left for me. So actually, I think it's in one of these photos. Anyhow, it's on its way. I'm really excited about this thing. So my design and his design were pretty darn close. So I've actually stripped down my foam board version of this aircraft and switched it over. So as soon as this thing arrives, it's in the mail. It's been posted. I'll have a little sub 250. I can probably run this thing on 3S. I've got some 3S 300s, which I've ordered recently. So I might be able to get away with that. It's a fantastic little ship. Honestly, check out Defiant Wings, the Renegade, if you're looking for a sub 250 twin, 2S, 3S power. I love seeing, we're really loving seeing all the innovation behind it. People are changing up the servo configuration. I'm probably going to go with separate aileron controls so I can do a little bit of flap control and everything like that. So it's a really, really awesome little ship, and I'm super excited about getting mine. When they ship, mine's, as I said, is a prototype number 3, I think Sean was telling me. So my wing's a full-size wing. When they ship, they're much smaller, so the shipping costs are way, way less. This thing, when it shipped, was like the size of it basically was like its own little UMX kind of box. So I'll keep the box because it'll keep it nice and safe for when I do take it on trips and stuff. But sub 250 FPV, put on a little 25 milliwatt transmitter, and we're off to the races to have fun. Looking at all the video of people flying their little Renegades, it's been a hoot, an absolute hoot, and really enjoying this whole experience. So who knows what we're going to do with the fall and the winter. We may have to do another design challenge to keep everybody kind of engaged and having a little bit of fun. So that's the Defiant bad boy. And again, like I said, if you check out my update video from yesterday, you'll see my really crappy laminating and monocoat job. But the D28 is ready to go, and as soon as I got a good little bit of weather, I'll definitely jump out. The other thing that's gonna be in the mail is this little thing. This is the Dancing Wing Hobby T30. It's kind of a trainer, balsa trainer. I am going to go electric on it. And my parents were like, they wanted to order me something for my birthday. So I was like, cool. So I just went with a Banggood product, and I've got laminate. I got laminate here. I've got a power pod system and everything for it. And I figured, this is fantastic. So we'll try it out. It's going to be another one of those balsa builds. I've got to finish off the biplane, and that's, again, something I said, you know what, I'm going to squirrel this thing away for the winter. This should be a real quick build. One of the club members here from my flying club is building one, and it was quite impressed with the quality of kit. So you can't really argue with the price of it and everything. So I figured, what the heck, I'll give it a shot. Probably going to go red and white on the colors. Who knows? I'm just going to use up whatever laminate I've got and try and keep the cost. And that's also why I'm not going to go with a wet fun. And that's a note I'll touch on too. I don't suspect I'm going to get the gasser out at this point. I've actually been working away on the extra, taking care of a couple little small things. There was a couple really interesting notes. People pay attention to the videos and the details, and someone commented that my linkage wasn't performing as well as it could. And Chris Gooden sent me a video and a guy describing, and it had less to do with the servo and more to do with the arm and how the arm was set up. So I've got some notes on how to tune that in. The CG is correct, but I'm still not satisfied having the batteries under the cowl, because I realize now for winter, if I want to take those nice life packs out of the plane so they don't freeze in the garage or anything like that, I've got to strip the plane down again. So I'm almost thinking I'm going to try and pull the battery weight and put it on the CG point and go from there. So I did determine, my dad was over in September for my birthday, and 2 of us held the plane up because it's I can't do it standing up, I noticed. But then I discovered if I crouch down, she can test the CG. But I verified it with 2 people holding the thing up because it's huge. There's a goofy picture of me smiling away. I'm laughing my butt off. I had a beer in me too. But now I know what to look for, so I can actually test the CG. And this was out fuel and everything was perfect CG. So with half a tank, my CG is fine. So it's going to progress away. And like I said, this will be electric, and I haven't determined if I'm going to go with a fourth, I can count, a fourth wet plane. I've got 2 gassers. Eventually the Cub will come home from Illinois, and then there's another Cub which is nitro based. This one could potentially be converted to nitro, but then I have to go and buy the tank and the motor and everything. Happy birthday, Lee. Congratulations. 51, hey. I'm not too far behind. But I have all the gear for this thing, so that's why I was kind of like, yeah, it was a no-brainer. What did I discover from the gear? I did an audit. I had a bunch of project boxes and everything, and I actually thought I was out of servo extensions and stuff like this, so just setting up for the winter. The thing I'm running out of right now are servo links, so I'm actually eventually going to have to do another order and stock up for that. Okay, there was a question about some of the Hangar RC planes. Right now I've only tested the Wasp, or not tested, I've only built it. And this thing is, if you watch my update video from yesterday, this is a build process. I've never built something like this, quite like this before, but I enjoyed it. I just took my time, though. That was a nice thing. There was no pressure or anything like that, and just went and built it away. So I don't want to cover off too much of it because I want to save a lot of this for when Sam does come on the podcast to discuss it. But the HRC Wasp is a really good looking plane. Well, just check out the photos that I posted, and it balanced out really well with a 4S 2200 in the nose. I'm probably gonna fly mainly with a 3300. Just let me put this thing down. And the only other thing I have to do besides setting up the radio on this now is I have to get in. I've got a water-based polyurethane spray just to protect this beautiful covering. They offer the Warbird, the weathered Warbird, and then a whole bunch of Blue Angels with the various numbers, and then eventually they will offer this scheme. And so it's a detailed build, and a lot of effort goes into it. But if you take your time, it's not hard. It's just a good build, and just be super careful. Look at that! I got myself good with the hot glue gun. I was holding apart, and it was a critical stage in this build. I don't remember exactly where, and I was late, and I was tired, and I zapped myself really aggressively with the glue gun. So I've got a massive blister on my right palm, which is really annoying too because I keep hitting it. So, ow. So I'm running the motor on my other show, the other update, the motor and everything. It feels punchy on 4S. That prop was so out of balance. So I took it off and I did a balance job and everything, and it feels really good. So this week, fingers crossed. What time is it in Canada? Right now it's 3:30 Eastern time zone, so it's 3:30 in the afternoon in my time zone. Yeah. This plane will fly very soon. I'm going to get it out and spray. It was too windy, and I didn't want to do it in the garage, so I'm going to wait for a nice day to spray it down, because my concern is as soon as you get this red paint job wet, it will really degrade, and I don't want to ruin the look of it. It looks really nice. The other option would have been to apply tape, but the principles of peeling off all that paper and everything and then gluing a cover on it, it is amazing. So I'm really, really, really impressed with it. I've done a skin job once before, and it didn't really last too well. It kind of got damp in Ohio, and the plane just kind of fell apart. So this is a really good quality, and again, Sam will cover off what they do and their steps and everything, and go. And it's not that bad. The biggest thing I've learned is you do get a little bit of paint and everything on your hands and stuff like that. So not paint, spray 77, the spray glue. So it's coming. And again, I really appreciate he was super patient about me building this thing, and it really allowed me to enjoy it. So again, so touched on the wet planes. They will come. I don't think I'm going to fire up the glow plane. I might bench fly these things and test them outside. But I've just been really, really enjoying looking at them and getting them ready, and so much other things I want to do. So I do want to fly my gassers. I really do want to try this thing, but like I said, I want it to be right and set. And if I don't get to it, well, it just means 2021 is going to be that much better. So, okay. That's the wet plane updates. That's the Wasp update. For those interested in supporting the podcast or looking for decals, I will have to do another run. But in the meantime, our host who does all the, look at the swag. I got a t-shirt on right now. I'll drop all the links for the swag and everything into it. They started doing cutout stickers. They're a little bit more pricey than I like to see them. I basically am not generating any profit off any of the swag or anything like that. But there are some nice looking decals if you really want them. I will get some through our Sticker Mule ones, and then we'll start sending stuff out. So if people want them, let me know, and we'll figure it out to the new patrons. And I got to burn off the old sticker supplies. There's nothing wrong with the old logo, but I just kind of like the new one. And yes, there are Blame Andres t-shirts. That was a special request from a few people. They look kind of fun and goofy and everything. And why not? You got to blame me for something. I was actually asked the background story on that, and I said, you know what? I'm underperforming this year, but hopefully, there'll be some good stuff down the road that'll really get people interested. And again, you can blame me for wanting goods and bibs and bobs. But I think next year will be, I've got my fingers crossed for 21, and that the gas, the fuel planes, and then all those EDFs that I haven't flown this year will get out and just start pushing and pushing and pushing. So it comes back to, I'm a little bummed about this year, but at the same time, it is what it is, and at least I know where we're going for next year. Okay, now we're going to jump into the new products, and I hope to spend a little time diving in there. This one, oh yes, the Durafly Micro Tundra, and I'll close off that agreement box. There it is. Wow, we knew about this aircraft for a while, actually. Steve had told me a long time ago that it was coming. And so the Durafly Micro Tundra, your little 2S one, and hopefully we'll be able to get Stuart on the podcast eventually and talk to us about this thing. It is your little 2S 500, if I'm correct. Yeah. It's JST connector and stuff like this. It wants they said basically the high power 3S500 2S500 battery would work on it. But hey, a little Micro Tundra, finally. We've been waiting around for this thing for a while. There's two schemes. The party scheme is cool, but I kind of like that green, that Dayglow green, a little bit more. But spec wise, it is a 25-inch wingspan, which is pretty darn cool. 365 millimeters, 17-inch. Without the battery, it's 45 grams. Pretty simple setup. 6 amp brushless ESC setup, and it takes a 6x4 prop. It's got a couple servos on board. It does have flaps and everything, so you put in your 5 to 6 channel receiver and off you go. So it's it looks nice. It looks really nice, and I almost you should get one and get Dave or David's RC on your show. I almost picked up one of these guys, and then I saw the shipping, and it was the same problem with the Hurricane. The shipping is $80 Canadian on one of these aircraft. That's $136, $137. So I was kind of like, oh man. So what's that in U.S. funds? Here we go. We'll switch that over. Lost my link. Hold on here. Let's regenerate that. But it's not even playing nice. Anyhow, well, here we'll go to the party animal aircraft. Here we go. The Tundra graffiti style. And that's kind of cool and funky and different, so it's kind of fun. But I think I still like the other green one. Anyhow, really nice to start seeing, really good to see Stuart kind of bubbling back into this environment. Really nice to see a product that we haven't seen in a long time from Hobby King. We've been waiting. So fingers crossed that they start rolling into the fall and we start having a little bit more excitement. All right, what was next? Earlier this week, Spectrum released, I haven't really looked at what these are, but they're calling their NX series. So they're 6 channel, and they're 8 and they're 10 channel receivers. Basically, I think they've just punched up the quality of the displays. So color, backlit, and so forth. Let's see. Wi-Fi connectivity, a larger 3.2-inch backlit color display, and built-in smart technology support. So this is just Spectrum moving that envelope forward, and they look like pretty decent little radios. 3.6, 6001 S lithium-ion transmitter batteries. So that bad boy is going to have some capacity. So Lee Davis said I got a Hobby King Hurricane at AJ, no shipping, for $150. That's awesome, man. I have to look into that. Again, they look pretty cool, but we'll see what goes. The belly landers are probably the way to go once we hit winter too. So, all right, back into the NX stuff. So this is Spectrum refreshing their model line and everything. They look good. They honestly look good. I was noticing my DX9. I want to adjust the springs on my throttle, kind of feels a little mushy, so I've got to get in there and probably open it up and do a little maintenance work. But again, so from Spectrum, they now have a new 10-channel, 8-channel, and 6-channel. I don't know about anybody else these days, but it's funny because, like, I mean, price-wise, it's almost $200 more to jump to the 10-channel. But I've got a feeling if you make a decision on a protocol, rather than jumping through radios and buying another radio down the road, 8 channels doesn't seem like enough sometimes. And so I'm really happy having the 9-channel. There's a couple aircraft that I've actually, used up all the channels in Spectrum. So the 10-channel is probably pretty cool. But I've also, the price tag on that stuff like that, you don't need more than 8. Well, so the other end of that argument these days too, is a flight controller board, right? And even if you're in a pass-through mode, the point is that if you buy the right flight controller board with the right amount of servo outputs, you kind of can get away with it using an S-Bus telemetry, or S-Bus protocol and so forth, or a couple of the other ones. So there's a couple of ways to wiggle around it, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would buy a 6-channel ever again. I know it's expensive for someone getting into the hobby, but I guess you could also consider like some of the bundles and so forth. But here I am sitting with picked up a used DX9, and that will be my Spectrum go-to radio as I take some of the pressure off the Tyrannus. So who knows? So something to look for if you're a Spectrum fan and everything, and want to jump up to a new radio technology, and or just really want that new display. I've got a feeling you'll probably see a refresh in some of the other technology that they've been pushing with some of the Android based or their own based with the smart technology and so forth. I love the idea of the telemetry and everything. Those are really cool, and really would like to try it, but until I actually have a new aircraft with smart in it and then go buy the smart batteries and so forth, I can't even tell you how it's going to go, because I'd have to re-kit almost everything. And here I am, all my planes, as soon as I hit the 1 year, or, and the warranty is gone on the ESC and stuff like that, snip off that the EC3 connector or 5 and go for XD60 or XD90. So it depends on the application, right? But as soon as that warranty is gone, poof, that connector is gone too. But at the same time, if a company is not going to warranty their product because you've changed a battery connector, I don't know. So, all right. Look at this monster. The E-Flite V1200, 1.2 meter. So this is based off their V900, which is their fast, crazy ship. And wow. I watched this thing. I watched a couple of their video reviews and so forth, and this thing is a monster. I would definitely like to see this thing flying in person on 6S and everything. It has got to go. I love the idea that it's got flaps, and I love the idea that it's got landing gear because, I just hope you can still belly land it. I wasn't 100% sure if you could still belly land it, but with the flaps, at least you can slow it down. I remember flying like the EFX Racer and stuff like that, and forgetting, oh yeah, I gotta like let this thing spool down before I can come in and land, because otherwise I'm just blowing past everything. But it's a fun little ship, I think. I think you can really get your it's got a good size scale too. It's not as small, so you can run it on 4S and you can run it on 6S, which is really nice, so you can kind of get yourself into it. I think I would have preferred a brighter color contrast, but the black wings on the bottom probably help a lot, make you make it trackable, and it definitely has got larger profile. So again, where are those specs? Come on, getting used to the Horizon website. So come on, specs. Here we go, product specs. So it is the flying weight. That is funny. That's a lot. 25,000 grams. They need to fix that. All right. So battery wise, you're looking at a 4S to 6S, 3,200 to 7,000 milliamp. That's impressive. Wingspan is almost 48 inches, 47.25 inches, 1,200 millimeters. So that's pretty good. That will get you going. Inverter Ben says, looks great. Speaking from getting new airplanes, I just acquired the E-Flight Eurofighter, the Freewing Eurofighter V2. Great price, great conditions. Now I just need some 6S batteries. Yeah, it's a slippery slope, man. Those 6S packs, you can very quickly accelerate your 6S pack library. I know mine is, and there are packs I haven't even flown this year. I bought the 6S 5000s last year with any intention, but like I said, things changed. Oh, there are 2 new aircraft from Flex Innovation. I don't have that. I'm just remembering now off the top of my head. They have a wing that's 6S and 6S 1500. I think they were just kind of like playing off the quad market. And they've taken the Mamba 10 and updated. Yes. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that G2 Mamba? Exactly. Holy smokes. So I think we'll have to get them back on. We'll have to talk to Flex when those products come out, because imagine your Mamba 10 on 6S. That thing would be, I don't know if you'd rip the aircraft apart. I don't think you would, but like it's just going to hover on a dime, right? So, wow. So it's cool. I'd almost want to see, like I thought the 4S upgrade kit was a pretty nice idea, but the 6S. Now, this means you're a beast, but do I want a 6S, a smaller capacity 6S battery? And I'm not sure about that. That's a hard sell because I don't fly any little 6S quads and stuff like that. And the smallest 6S I have is a 3300, and I'm kind of like, So I kind of wonder if they're playing with the market, but still, they'll get success off that one. And they have their jets and everything, but I mean, we fly off the bigger packs, so still, that their wing looks pretty cool. So when we'll get Seth on the podcast, I actually pinged him right away. Oddball battery. Well, if you're a quad guy, I've got a lot of quad friends who fly 6S, and that's what they're in. They fly the 6S 1500s and stuff like that. But for jets, forget it. That's like what, a half a minute of battery time. So we'll get Seth on the podcast later on once these product rolls out, because I want to talk to them because they just switched their warehouse and everything, and just see how their year is going. You talk to all the manufacturers. Everybody's having a really rough year. So good year, but at the same time, it's still not what we thought it was. So, all right. We're going to roll back into the products, and I will have to drag our good buddy Alpha over eventually too, because they announced a whole bunch of Nexa models. I'm going to get myself off the screen here. There we go. Oh, take your pick. I mean, there was a T40 34C. There was not the Hellcat. The P40 was new. There was a Spitfire that was new, 60-inch. The Piper was new. The A24 Banshee dive bomber was new. That Invader looked great. The C47, and then the giant 81-inch Dauntless. Look at that thing. So these are all Nexus Balsa models. So it's just super looking. And it's kind of a tough call. Do you do this gas, or fuel, or do you do them electric and just put some really nice power behind them? But you gotta love the Dauntless model. Looking at the figures and everything. So, what was the Dauntless again? 81-inch. It's almost $800 US. I don't even want to venture to see what the shipping would be. They're speccing it out again for electric, so they're calling for their Abril GP26, which is a 6330 240 kV brushless motor. That is crazy. 120 amp ESC, 18-inch prop, and I'm assuming that would be a really giant 6S pack. I'm looking over to see what they say. Two 4S 5000s. So not too bad, not too shabby. And then 4-stroke motor if you were going for it that way. 30 cc. So that's not that bad. But that is a gorgeous, the level of detail that these guys are getting. Up their game too, making better planes. Yeah, I think everybody's kind of pushing themselves, which is really good. That's Lee Davis says that Dynam is upping their games, making better models, which is fantastic news because some of the earlier models were a little less. Well, the quality was suspect. We'll go with that. I just noticed. Look at that pilot's knee joints. What the heck? At least he's got a cigarette, but his knees are kind of scary looking. But again, a whole slew of really nice balsa models. And you know, if my hangar space was hangar with an A, if the hangar space was bigger, and again, this is why I think I'm curtailing the wet planes, because I only have so much room in the garage, and the rule with the wet fuel planes is none of this stuff comes into the house because it's just evil smelling stuff. So it's not worthwhile keeping them or trying to bring them into the house. So that's why the benches and everything are designed outside. So it's such a tough call, you know. Do you go electric? Do you go fuel based? But I got a sneaky suspicion that come next year, when I actually do get to fire up the gas planes and enjoy them at the field, you may see one or two more nitro based or glow based, and maybe one or two more fuel based aircraft. So many ways to go. So there we go. We'll keep punching away. Like I said, keep your suggestions. Actually, if you want to email rcafterhourspodcast@gmail.com. Again, rcafterhourspodcast@gmail.com with your guest suggestions and stuff like this. I'll do everything I can to wrangle people in and reconnect with a bunch of stuff. It's just lately it's just been easier just to work away on my own projects and everything. But I do want to get those the shows with the guests, because they're fun. I'm looking forward to Sam's one. We'll put him in the hot seat. I always have my bell nearby to make sure everybody is on their toes when we get to those hot seat questions. And we'll see if we can track down Seth, our Alpha, and we'll get Pete from Horizon to come back and talk about some of the stuff, you know, behind the remotes and everything, behind the planes and everything, and all the fun stuff. So, you know, and if you've got anybody you want to see on the show, and just tell them to connect with me, and we'll go from there. So managed to ramble on for a good 50 minutes or 40 something minutes. So there you go. So another podcast in the books. I'll keep them coming. Stay tuned for all the social media and everything as I keep my eyes and ears to the industry, and we keep having fun, and I will keep pushing on my builds and try and get out flying and all this stuff, and I hope everybody else does the same. Stay safe, stay positive, and again, thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching the show, and we'll talk to everybody on the next episode. See you later. All right, there we go. That podcast is in the books and everything. Hey, everybody, thanks. Hello, 31 from Greece. Love the podcast. Thanks, man. So the podcast is recorded. I'll put that into post-production and get that out and everything. If anybody's got any questions about stuff and everything, you can ping me now. I'll hang out for a few more minutes and have some fun. And it was the last couple of weeks have been kind of busy, and did what I can. I really, really enjoyed that build. Besides that, that sucked. It was hot. It's a fun, interesting build, a very different format for those who are into the foam board building and everything. The gentleman who does Depron, the Depron supplier for the U.S., messaged me, and I'll try and get him onto the show if you guys are interested in that, learning a little bit more about his product and his view. I'll have to see what his name was, but I think I'll touch base with him because it can't hurt. Between all these different building supplies and everything, and I'm gonna really push my skill set when it comes to figuring out what to do as far as 3D technology and everything. So there we go. All right, looks like most of the viewers have trailed off, so I'm gonna shut down the stream and get on with this afternoon. Again, everybody, thank you for hanging out and everything, and have an awesome day. See you later.